Goddag og velkommen til denne demo af Econ Solutions salgs- og produktkonfigurator. Mit navn er Martin Hansen. Sammen med min kollega Marijn fra Holland vil vi i dag tale om, hvordan man med vores salgs- og produktkonfigurator kan sørge for, at jeres kunder med deres unikke behov altid får det rigtige produkt leveret. Vores agenda for i dag, det er, at jeg kort vil gå igennem, hvad Econ er for noget, hvordan det virker, hvad fordelene ved det er. Bagefter vil Marijn komme med en demonstration af produktet, og til sidst så runder vi af med at snakke lidt om, hvordan vi kommer i gang med at bruge det. Econ er en browserbaseret salgs- og produktkonfigurator. Den virker både til NAV, til AX og til CRM. Konfiguratoren er utrolig fleksibel og kan anvendes til opsætning af alt i alle tre produkter, lige fra priser, produkter, tilbud, serviceydelser og mange andre ting, der måtte være relevant for virksomhed til virksomhed. Det gør, at produktkonfiguratoren er et utroligt stærkt værktøj, hvis for eksempel man sælger unikke produkter fra kunde til kunde og ordre til ordre. Typisk vil salgsteamet i virksomheder, der tilbyder produkter, som er komplekse eller ydelser, være bekendt med følgende daglige udfordringer. De unikke kunder kræver unikke services og er dermed unikke tilbud en nødvendighed for de kunder. Men også i administrationen har vi udfordringer i forhold til, om salg nu er opmærksom på nye produkter, man har fået, eller om der er kommet nye konfigurationsmuligheder på de produkter, vi allerede har. Vi kan også have en udfordring i, om salg de virkelig har de nye specifikationer, eller om de foretager deres salg ud fra nogle specifikationer, der allerede er forældet. Og til sidst så tager det lang tid at håndtere og indtaste data fra tilbud til leverance. Vi er tit nødt til at indtaste samme data i forskellige skærmbilleder i NAV og sørge for, at kæden hænger sammen på den måde. Der er mange andre fordele, hvor vi kan bruge konfiguratoren. Og det kan hjælpe os med at gøre hverdagen lettere ved at styre og forenkle en kompleks salgssituation. Vi øger præcisionen, vi udrydder fejl ved manuel genindtastning, som jeg var inde på før. Vi anvender en meget brugervenlig løsning, som vi vil kunne se senere, så ligner produktkonfiguratoren til afveksling eller til forveksling også NAV, som vi arbejder med til dagligt. Vi har mulighed for at knytte vores teams bedre sammen, forstået på den måde, at i vores produktudvikling, hvor vi indtaster de her modeller, som indeholder informationerne om de produkter, eller hvad det nu er, vi gerne vil konfigurere, de bliver tilgængelige for salg og marketing. Vi kan styrke vores ekspertise i og med, at vi kan give vores medarbejdere mulighed for selv at lære at opbygge de her konfigurationsmodeller. Vi har mulighed for at reagere hurtigere på kundernes ønsker og opnå mere salg. Det gør vi ved igen, at vi styrer vores salgsproces, og vi har mulighed for allerede på et tidligt tidspunkt at have de præcise oplysninger, som vi skal bruge for at sætte vores ordre i produktion. But now it's time for the demo. I'll talk a little bit in English so that Marijn knows that his turn is coming up now. I'll turn over the microphone to Marijn, who will give us a demonstration of the functionality. So Marijn, I'll just make you the presenter here, and Marijn can take it from here. Go ahead, Marijn.
Thank you, Martin. Okay, as Martin already explained and introduced, I'm Marijn van Poelje from To Increase Econ Solutions, and in the next half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, I'm going to demo the Econ Sales and Product Configurator. And actually, I'm going to show you a few scenarios. I first want to start with configuring, I would say, a traditional product. So I'm in the RTC client of Dynamics NAV, in the role center, and in a minute I will start with creating a new sales order and launch the configurator from inside the sales order and configure a product. In this case it is a door, and save the configuration, which will result in an item, bill of material and routing, and all other information that is needed to start your producing your custom door immediately. In the second scenario, I want to show a little different setup by launching the configurator again from inside Dynamics NAV, but then use it to configure a mower. And in that case, it's not creating the bills and materials and routings, but it's just updating a sales order with all the items needed to sell the product. So you can see that as a scenario which is very suitable for a sales organization selling complex products. And also I want to show you a little from what we call the studio environment. The studio environment is the application where the configurator can be set up and maintained. Maybe you already understand that configurator is a kind of a toolbox which can be exactly set up to your needs. As you have already heard from Martin, it can be sold in different industries, and you know all those industries have their own typical characteristics. Your products will have their own characteristics and rules and stuff that can be fully tailored setup in the studio, which will be then the last part of my demonstration. But let's start by first configuring one of our great custom doors. And therefore I'm going to create a new sales order. Of course, this is all standard NAV, nothing special in here. We select a certain customer. And at the sales line we select the type item. And now we type in or select a certain item number, EDOR. And actually on one hand this is just an item as any others existing in our NAV application, but it's a little special since this item is connected to a configuration model. So you will see that a screen pops up allowing you to either choose the model or start from a template. This is, by the way, additional functionality that can be activated if you want to use it, but it allows you to make use of templates. And templates are a kind of pre-configured configurations. Imagine you are selling your products in a certain industry. In this case, you're selling your doors in a certain industry, and you know already upfront in that industry they always need wooden doors from these dimensions, and they want to have this hinge and this handle. Then you know you can already predefine such configuration, save it, and just use it for a fast start of your configuration process. In this case, I want to start from scratch. I think that's better for our demo purpose, so I select from the model and not from the template. Doing so will launch the configurator, will launch Econ. Let's make my screen a little bigger so you have a better view of what I'm going to show you here. What you see here is the Econ user interface. As you can see, it has a similar look and feel as the R2C client of NAV, which is of course a benefit. So you will be in the same integrated Dynamics NAV experience. Secondly, what you see here is the different, let's say, questions or features defining your product. In this case, defining the door. So you're asking for the door model, the sizes, the length, the width, color, and so on and so on. But it's important to understand that what you see here is something that can be set up by yourself. So it is you defining in the studio, which I will demo later. It is you defining the questions to be asked. The questions or the features or the characteristics determine your product. What's more, also the look and feel of this user interface is something you can easily set up by yourself. So as you can see here, we do have different ribbons or fast tabs where I show different information. As you can see, questions can be shown as a drop-down list or as what we call radio buttons, so you have a variety of possibilities here. Maybe you also notice that some of those questions do have a small red indication. We call them the mandatory fields. Of course, also something you can easily set up, and actually, the system forces you to enter those mandatory questions, else you were simply not able to save this door into your ERP NAV system. All, to make sure your people, salespeople or customers are only adding validated information into NAV. Let's start configuring our first product by selecting our first model. And of course, it's great, to start with model Denmark. Let's do that. And as you can see, by selecting that model, immediately something is happening. I see a little picture of that door. I see the price coming in. I can tell you, the number of dimensions, the number of length and width is limited by making that choice. That means that after making a choice, immediately the rules engine is used to check for all relevant business rules, which are executed immediately. So you know immediately what's the impact of a certain choice. So you can inform your customer, great, you're selecting the model Denmark, but I have to inform you, it's only available in those dimensions. And I can tell you, this is the price. And I can even show the cost, so see if I make any margin on this one. Of course, this is a great door, but actually my customer now explains me, I'm actually looking for a door with a glazing in there, so then better pick another door from the list. And, let's go for model Spain, which seems to be a nice door. So as you can see, the price is updated, the picture is updated, there is even an additional tab page added glazing, allowing me, to select some glazing. Now let's do that already. Let's go for a chinchilla glass. And I also see, of course, the impact on the price. And the model Spain, as you can see, is available in different sizes. So I choose this one. A little message informs me that making this choice, it has impact on the number of hinges. I can select the width of the door. Select a certain color, dark blue, and the swing of the door. As you can see, I also have the possibility to choose special sizes. If I do so, first of all, what's the price? As you can see, doing so will have impact on the price. So Econ is of course also able to do all kinds of pricing rules. I would say, of course, the list price, the price lists are consulted from the NAV system. Econ is laying on top of Dynamics NAV, and it makes use of all the information that is in the Dynamics NAV database. So it's not that we duplicate data. Now we are using the data from NAV. But I can add rules on top of it. So in this case, for example, I'm adding a little pricing rule in my Econ telling, if the customer wants to go for special, you have to add 10% on the list price. That's exactly what's done here. But of course, you can see there is more. Selecting special brings up more fields specifying the exact dimensions of this door. The height, for example, if I go there, you see it's red box, and it's red box for a reason, since it expects a minimum value in here. Let's go for 2003. Still, you see it's red box, since there is another input validation here that it requires a multiplication of 10 as input. Now let's go there. 900 as the width for the door. And now it's asking for more dimensions, H1, H2, W1, W2. But of course it's quite difficult to find out what's actually meant with that H1, H2, W1, and W2. So therefore we introduced new functionality, clicking on this, bringing in I would say, image template, making it more easy to add that requested data. So maybe this is 120, this is 100, this is a 90, and this is 1250. And save will pass over the information, of course, in Econ. Let's go back to standard. So let's go to the glazing, where I already selected the chinchilla glass, but I want to have it tempered as well. In the accessories area, I first can select hinges, and I really like the chrome ones, so let's add them. It will bring in the price, as you can see. And what's more, you can see that by default 3 hinges are selected for this door, but that's also rules driven. So for example, when I select a little higher door, the message pops up informing me that this door is default equipped with 4 hinges, which of course also has an impact on the price. But if I want to stick with 3, the system allows me to do that, but it drops a little warning that this is not optimal. You know, we as a vendor, we suggest to have this door equipped with 4 hinges. It's an error. The system also allows you to introduce, it's a warning, sorry, so the system allows you to continue the process. You can also add so-called errors. Then the system drops an error and it's not allowing you to continue. Let's stick with the 4. Here in the logs I can select a cylinder. I have here 3 choices. 3 choices, standard choices, items from the NAV database. However, I can also select the non-standard cylinders, as you can see here. And then it's bringing in other choices, other cylinder options. And these options are actually coming from a different database. As I told you, Econ is heavily using the NAV database for, you know, all the information, but it's not restricted to that. The system allows you to use alternative data sources as well. In this example, it's even using an Excel spreadsheet. So we are getting those special Johnson cylinders from an Excel spreadsheet. So imagine you can ask your suppliers to deliver their item list or the catalog in an Excel spreadsheet, and Econ can query from them. And you know, it's even going a step further. When I select this item and later on save this door into NAV, it is even adding this new Johnson cylinder component to the database when it doesn't exist yet. So it allows you to use alternative data sources to even create master data when needed. Let's select the door handle for our door as well. A handle deluxe. As you can see, it has a certain position. What's the position, you know, from the bottom to the door handle, and as you can see, it's a little rule telling by default it's half of the door. That's the position of our door handle. I come back on that a little later when we talk about the visualization of the door. I also can add a sales strip. I'm going to go for this one. Here you see another possibility, you know, to visualize your options, and just clicking on a picture will add the particular sales strip. In the summary area, I see a little summary of my door. In this case, it's designed that you see the different prices for each of the elements. You see the total price, the costs, the margin you're making. So while you're on the phone with your customer, you can immediately see if this is, you know, a good deal to do. And, you know, maybe you're giving some discounts. There is a special spring discount today. We can add 9% to it. And you see that you're making a 40%. And here you see a little summary. Then if I go to the drawing area, and let's make my screen a little bigger so you see the full picture. This drawing area, here you see a real-time representation of your door. And this one is what we call a graphical object. So this is really real-time created, which is different from what we see, for example, here at the door. This picture here is just a picture taken from a file system and shown. This one here in the drawing area is really a picture which is real-time created and influenced by my choice. So if I change the color to red, if I change the width and make the door a little smaller, you will see that it's, and also maybe change the swing of the door, you will see that this is real-time updated. The handle is at the other side of the door. The color is red. The dimensions are different. Even, you know, if I go to my accessories and I decided, you know, to bring that door handle a little lower on the door, you will see that it is moved a little lower. I can even go to special, let's do that, and add some special dimensions and see what's the impact on, the total door. So if I go to special, which is not accepted anymore anyway. Anyway, if you go to special, you can go there and select also other dimensions, which is real-time reflected in this picture. At the end, when I go back to my summary, I still see that it's a good margin. My customer is satisfied with this choice, and I'm as well. So simply click the save, which will create all necessary data in Dynamics NAV. So I'm returning Dynamics NAV in the sales order. I can add a quantity. And as you can see, an item, as you can see, an item is created. So let's have a more close look at this item. It's the model Spain. The description is rule-based generated. I can go to the bill of material to have a short look there. So this bill of material is on the fly created with exactly the components and items and quantities needed to produce this door. In this case, it's a single level bill of material. Of course, you can do multi-level bill of materials as well. Same for the routing. So if I go into the routing area and view the routing, you see all operations needed for this door. And as an example, this glass assembling, it is only added in this routing since our door was equipped with glazing. So that's all rules driven. And also, the runtime you see here, it's in econ calculated value based on the dimensions of the door. So what we see here is that I can go into the econ configurator, make choices of my customer based on my customer requirements. It is in control by the engine. So the engine is telling me if a certain option is possible or impossible. And at the end, when I save my configuration in NAV, you will see that all necessary information is available in the Dynamics NAV application, allowing me to immediately start delivering of the goods or producing of the goods. So this is really, first of all, increasing efficiency by speeding up the quotation process. And of course, it's also lowering error costs, since errors, as long as you're put in the correct business rules, errors are impossible to make. As I promised, next I want to show you a little older example. So I'm again adding in sales order in the system for a certain customer, the Canon Group in this case. I know, I have to pay. And instead of, selecting a item, I simply hit the configure button up here, which brings up, different configuration setups I can use. In this case, we call it, by the way, configuration models. In this case, I want to configure a mower, so I'm selecting the mower model, which brings up another setup of the configurator. Let's make the screen a little bigger. Same functionality as you can see here. There are some mandatory fields, there are different tab pages, and the first thing I can do here is select the mower model. So this is the one I want to sell. It's bringing in the sales price and the cost price. Select a certain cutting unit, also the real front rollers, heavy duty grooves. I want to add to my mower. I want luxury suspension seats in there and a certain counterweight. It's all bringing in the price. Then I also want to add some attachments. The European CE kit must be added as well. And as you can see, as a result, the conversion kit is automatically added. The gear drive is something I want to have. As you can see, it's telling me it also requires to order code 916, which is done automatically. So also this helps me, to create a complex sales order by advising me what other options are required, or even adding them automatically, preventing making any mistakes in there. This one is nice, and this one is also needed. Then I again can go back to specifications, pricing, and discounts, where I see a little description of my base machine. And here you can see that it is designed that prices are categorized to base machines, attachments, and attachments for full conversion. And even in this setup, it allows me to give different discounts on different categories. So on the base machine, they can get 10%. But on the attachments, it's just 5%. And on this one, it is 8%. And of course, Econ automatically calculates the total discount, calculates the total margin, and as you can see, we are doing pretty well here. I also have the possibility to print a rich quotation document right from Econ. So when I click this one here, it is actually opening and creating a Word document using the information from the configurator. So the tool also comes with, Econ also comes with a tool allowing you to set up the Word templates with a kind of references, to Econ, where information from Econ has to be merged into the document. So you see the price, you see the description, a little picture of it, the prices of the different attachments added, and so forth. And at the end, I click the Save button, which will now update my sales order with the items needed for this specific mower. So as you can see, it is adding the different items, quite a list. If I go up, it's adding the different items that are needed for this mower. So see this as a setup and an example of companies selling complex products, where Econ is helping them to select the correct items and automatically add those items into a sales order. And of course, it can also be a combination, so that some of those items are maybe made to order items. So we add them, we create new items, we add bills of materials and roundings to it, and we add them to the sales order. And other items are just standard items which are selected by Econ and added to the sales order. All right. Another possibility, and I just want to mention that shortly, is to use Econ over the web. Econ is built around web technology, which allows you to pretty quick and pretty easy use the same configurator which is used inside Dynamics NAV in a web portal, allowing your channel to directly configure quotes and orders with Econ in Dynamics NAV. Let me also give you a short explanation and demonstration of that functionality. So as you can see, I'm in Internet Explorer, and I'm in a certain Econ portal environment. Of course, this can be fully set up to your own website styling. And here I see a few little buttons, for example, all quotes. If I go in there, you see actually a list of quotes or orders or anything else I want to configure through this portal created by me. And I'm the administrator, I have to admit. So you see a list of, the different quotes done with some little buttons allowing me to do specific actions. I also can create a new order or a new quote by clicking this little button. Let's make it a little bigger. And here you see that, I can select the customer for who I want to create this quote. Let's make it the Canon group in this case. I can add a certain reference, webinar demo cranes. This is actually a model to configure a little crane. Maybe there's an older reference. Select the sales taker. And it's good to understand that the information you see here is all coming from NAV. Although we are running this in a website, we are still, of course, securely connected to Dynamics NAV and using the data from Dynamics NAV. At the sales line, I can configure a certain product. Maybe make this a little smaller, allowing us to have a little more room to enter the questions. I want to lift 10 tons with this crane with a certain radius. I also have to specify the operation angle. It's minimum 23, it's 40 and 76 maximum. A certain lifting speed. So I simply, as you can see, enter all relevant questions. It's calculating some stuff. What's the crane model? It's some strength classification is calculated. The price is coming in. I can add some options. The voltage and the frequency. Here I see some specifications in the bill of material. But at the end, I simply save this one, which is adding this order into my portal. And from the portal, I simply have the possibility to send it to Dynamics NAV. So this shows how I can use Econ also in a portal environment. So last but not least, let me show you something about the studio environment. As I explained before, in the studio environment is used to set up and maintain the configurator. So I'm just opening this environment. And of course I cannot explain all the details in the time left, but at least I can explain some of the basics and show you how easy it actually is to set up a simple configuration model in this environment. So what I will do in, let's say, the next 10 to 15 minutes is create a small model to configure a certain product. Let's use a pump. Create the questions or the features needed and also add some business logic on top of it. So to do so, first I click here New, which will bring in a new model, and I give it a certain name. My custom pump. That's the name of my little model. And now in this structure I have the possibility to add properties defining my pump. And the first thing I want to ask for is the model. Since I sell this pump in different types and different models. I do have the small pump. We sell the regular one. Regular. And I have a special pump for the food industry. And of course I do have a very heavy one, heavy industry, for heavy industry. My pump has certain capacities, so I add another property and call it capacity. And actually, I have pumps in the capacity of 100. 400, I would say 800, and let's make it 1200 as well. Let's continue, since I also have to do with a diameter. My pump has a certain diameter. It's made from a certain material, and actually it's available in 3 types of material: stainless, just steel and aluminium. Alu. I can paint the pump in certain colors. And actually I have 3, let's say, standard choices. You can get it in white, you can get it in red, let's say, and you can get it in green. And if you want to have it different, that's fine, we do that as well, but then we call it special, you know. So special, and by the way, if it is special, then you need to specify the color number for me. So I know, you know, in what color I have to paint this color number. By the way, I can also add a note, you know, as you can see here, so that brings in another level in my model. So, you know, I can set up complex structures with all kind of levels which suits my needs as best. Accessories in this area, for example, I'm not specifying all the accessories, but you know, you can add multi-level structures in here. For each of those properties in this detailed grid, you can specify some more details. For example, I can make a decision to make this one mandatory. And maybe you want to have the capacity mandatory as well. And the, you know what, the diameter, as you can see here, the type is now string, which is a text, and better make it a number. So you can set those kind of details in there as well. You can also immediately test your model. So maybe you're a little curious, you know, is this model what I expect that it is? So that can be done by just clicking here, Run, which compiles the model and brings it up. And as you can see here, I have here my questions, the model, which is mandatory, the capacity, the diameter, the material, colors, the color number, the accessories, and another level. So it's, you know, it's quite doing what I expected to do. But now let's, you know, make it a little more complex, since I know already a certain model goes with a certain capacity. And, you know, not all my models are available in all materials. And also not all my models are going, or not all the materials are available in all colors. And the color number should actually only pop up when it's special. So let's add that kind of logic to our econ setup. And for example, let's first do something with the material. Here in this bottom corner, you see that, you know, I have 3 options: stainless steel and alloy. I just, of course, can just simply uncheck steel, which makes it never available or always available. Or I click this little icon here, which brings up the formula wizard, allowing me to use a wizard and add logic to it. As you can see, it starts a little slow. Honestly, I don't know why. Let's wait a little. There are different wizards available. There are wizards to add the logic, as I just described. There are wizards to add what we call data access functions, to read data from the NAV database. And we have plans in our roadmap to add new wizards in the future as well, all with the purpose to make it easier and easier to set up and maintain the configurator. I'm a little curious why it takes long, but it will be there at the end. Here we go. So as you can see, 2 wizards. And now I choose the formula wizard. And as you can see, it brings in, again, those 3 options: aluminium, steel, and stainless. But now it allows me to drag and drop in the model, as you see here. And I can simply set choices. So I can say, you know, the small one is only available in steel and aluminium. The regular we only do in steel. The food we only do in steel and aluminium, and the heavy duty can be done in all. And save. And maybe you want to do the same for colors. You know, if I click colors, formula wizard, it will bring in the colors, and there is a dependency with the material, since, you know, stainless cannot be done in special. In aluminium we only do in red and green, and still you can get it in all. And for a capacity, there is also a certain relationship between the model and the capacity. However, small is 100, regular is 400, food is 800, and so forth. So therefore I go here to value, click also here for the formula wizard, which will bring me up the different values, drag and drop in the model. And now I can simply say, for small it's 400, I mean it's 100, regular goes with 400, food goes with 800, and heavy duty goes with 1200. And save. And the last one I want to do in here is for the color number. Since that color number should not always be visible, it should only be visible for the special color. So as you can see, there is also a visible attribute. Now it's never visible, now it's always visible. And click this little formula wizard again. Set the visibility of color number, bring in colors, and I simply say, you know, it is only visible when colors is special, and save. And let's check the result. It's compiling the model, and it brings up the model for us. As you can see, no capacity yet, but when I select small, you will see that the capacity is 100. The materials are steel and aluminium. When I go for regular, the capacity is 400. It's only in steel. The food is 800, stainless and aluminium, and heavy industry in 1200. And I do have the 3 materials available. And when I go to steel, I have all colors. When I go to stainless, I have just the 3 colors. And when I go to aluminium, I have just the 2 colors. So steel, and I select special, it's bringing up the color number. So it works. I would say, of course. Of course, I think you will understand there is a lot more to tell in this area. You know, you see a lot of buttons here, and you know, it simply goes a little too far in detail to explain all of it, but there is a lot around it, with versioning, with comparison, translations, visualizations you can add. You can add, let's say, more difficult or more advanced calculations in the rules area. Here in the rules area, for example, you can add groups with rules, and in the rules you can, with drag and drop, create formulas by, for example, saying the capacity is 506 times P times 9, which is then maybe divided by the diameter. So you can do a lot of, let's say, more fancy stuff in here as well. For now, I think this is what I want to show as a, let's say, have a basic understanding of the studio. So I try to wrap up a little to what we have seen. We have seen the Econ Sales and Product Configurator, which is a advanced configurator for Dynamics NAV. Showed you different scenarios. I've shown you how Econ can be used as a traditional product configurator, can be launched from Dynamics NAV in the RTC look and feel based UI. You can make your choices, return into NAV where all the information is automatically added and validated and ready, you know, to continue the business process. I've shown a little other setup, how Also, Econ can support sales organizations in creating complex products like a mower. I've shown how Econ can be used in an e-commerce environment, in a portal environment, allowing you to have your channel, giving your channel the possibility to configure quotes of complex products and send them directly to NAV. And finally, I gave you a glimpse of the studio where all this nice stuff can be set up with drag and drop, with wizards, with easy to use tools. By saying that, I want to hand it over to Martin, who will add some final words to it. Martin, the floor is yours again.
Thank you, Marijn, for that great demo. I think that was very exciting. Før vi runder af, vil jeg kort på den følgende slide vise, hvordan Econ-konfiguratoren med de eksempler, vi allerede har talt om, og som Marijn har vist, passer ind i virksomhedens værdikæde helt fra produktudvikling og til aftermarket service. Vi så, hvordan Marijn satte modeller op, hvordan produkterne var konfigureret, hvordan marketing kan styre deres priser, hvordan salg kan blive mere styret, hvordan der er allerede blevet oprettet produktionsordre med ruter og styklister osv. Igennem salget. Og faktisk afslutningsvis vil jeg også nævne, at konfiguratoren virker og kan opsættes i forhold til alle tabeller i NAV. Og det er derfor, vi for eksempel også har den sidste punkt på sliden her, der hedder kundeservice. Fordi man kan bruge, som sagt, konfiguratoren til alle tabeller. Og det vil sige, at man kunne også forestille sig, at man brugte konfiguratoren til at oprette servicekontrakter, sager, direkte oprette styklister, eller måske helt andre områder. Måske endda et andet add-on, du allerede har installeret i din NAV-database. Man kunne jo også for eksempel forestille sig, at man kunne lave QA-kontrol, konfigurere en QA-opsætning på, hvordan et produkt, hvilke krav et produkt skulle imødekomme i forhold til et indkøb. Man kunne konfigurere work orders i forhold til planlagt vedligeholdelse eller vedligeholdelsesplaner. Der er mange muligheder. Som I også kan se af næste slide, så er Econ allerede anvendt i dag i mange forskellige brancher i hele verden. Som Marijn han også var inde på i sin demo, så er løsningen allerede op at køre i mange forskellige lande, i mange forskellige brancher og i mange forskellige virksomheder. Med det så vil jeg sige mange tak for i dag. Mange tak fordi I brugte tid på at følge med i den her demonstration. Jeg vil anbefale, at I gør brug af muligheden for selv at prøve konfiguratoren af via det link, som der står på skærmen lige nu. Og ellers så er I selvfølgelig også meget velkommen til at tage kontakt til mig, hvis I ønsker flere informationer, eller hvis I har spørgsmål omkring den demo, vi lige har set i dag. Og ellers så vil jeg endnu en gang sige tak for Marijn og Martin. Vi håber at se jer igen til en af vores øvrige online webinarer, der er planlagt, og som I øvrigt kan læse mere om på vores hjemmeside. Tak for den gang.